People who live closest to ecosystems hold deep knowledge about how those systems function, change, and endure. When shaping responses to biodiversity loss and environmental change, an important first step is to recognize the knowledge that already exists within communities.
We try to learn from the people that are in the ecosystem. What do they know about that ecosystem before we go to the level of applying other Western scientific approaches to either validating or adding to that knowledge they already have.
Recognizing knowledge is only the beginning. We also need to understand who lives in these territories, who depends on them, and who shapes what happens to them.
Si no contamos con el apoyo de las comunidades, no contamos con nada. O sea, la biodiversidad está muy ligada al territorio y quienes están en el territorio son los que deciden al final lo que pasa.
Inclusive processes become stronger when they bring together different knowledge systems, diverse voices, and the many ways people understand the value of biodiversity. This effort is not just about acknowledgement, it is about making space for perspectives and knowledge holders to inform action. A multiple evidence-based approach can help ensure that decisions are informed, not by one perspective alone, but by a more complete picture of people, nature, and place.
We work not only with the science, but also with social sciences, bringing all the information together, trying to promote dialogue.
Processes like trialogues and national ecosystem assessments can help bring these different forms of knowledge into dialogue. Decisions are stronger when they reflect not only evidence but also lived realities, local priorities, and the people most connected to biodiversity. Across the Caribbean region, communities are not waiting to be included. They are already leading, organizing, and shaping their own responses.
In the case of Grenada, it was very interesting because they also involved citizens as one of the drivers of change, increasing their awareness on the value of biodiversity and also including different values of biodiversity. That was a very innovative way of communicating and involving other stakeholders that sometimes are not involved in these assessments.
This kind of work shows that inclusion is strongest when it goes beyond consultation and supports real ownership, empowerment, and self-determination. Honoring knowledge systems and worldviews also means supporting communities in caring for their territories on their own terms.
The Wapishana indigenous people, they've made this Wapishana WISI, which is the Wapishana Territory Management Plan. And when you read the plan and the level of inclusion and the level of empowerment, the whole making of the plan, all the stakeholders involved, and how they want to honor their knowledge system, their worldviews, and empower themselves to actually be able to manage the wildlife of their territory, for me was encouraging, was impressive.
The value of local knowledge is also visible in everyday stewardship, especially where communities depend directly on healthy ecosystems for their well-being and livelihoods.
The work of future fishers encompasses building capacity of fisher folks, but more importantly in helping them to make wise use of the natural resources. Part of that involves ensuring that they have the rights to fish, the rights to access the resource, and the rights to enjoy a sustainable livelihood in the process.
When different forms of knowledge are brought into dialogue, they can help create stronger foundations for collective learning and better decisions.
Including in having the rights to fish is also understanding the importance of critical and valuable species. Protecting these species keep the ocean healthy so that they can have a longer sustainable livelihood in the process.
Experiences like these show that local knowledge is not only practical, it can also offer essential insight into how ecosystems function, how communities adapt, and what sustainable stewardship looks like over time. This is especially important when connecting science, policy, and practice, so that biodiversity action reflects both evidence and lived realities. Yet, even with promising examples across the region, gaps remain in ensuring that indigenous peoples and local communities are fully included in these processes.
What I would like to see in the region is more engagement, meaningful engagement of indigenous peoples and local communities, and the inclusion of indigenous and local knowledge in biodiversity and climate change action and policy making.
For the future of biodiversity in the Caribbean, different ways of knowing must be heard, respected, and acted upon, so decisions reflect both the evidence we gather and the lived realities of those who care for nature every day.